Konami finally put out some details regarding to the IBROX Stadium and the Celtic Park, but is it still worth the wait? Should Konami go back to the Havok engine? We're gonna discuss all this in today's episode of your favorite show, Worldie News. Alright, so welcome everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to your favorite show. I'm your host. The Rock. And in today's episode, we basically going to discuss about the IBROX Stadium, the Celtic Park, and PES Mobile. So the first news of the day is the fact that Konami finally put out some information regarding to the IBROX Stadium and Celtic Park, and it has left a lot of people talking about this. Like, alright, thank you so much, Konami. And if any of you haven't seen the news yet, these stadiums are gonna be released early next year in February as part of a DLC. I don't know what more is going to be included in the DLC, but for now we know that in February they're going to release a DLC that's going to have the Celtic Park and the IBROX Stadium. So this has like left a void full of discussion from different people from all angles and sides. And one thing that I criticize Konami. Alright, first of all, before I criticize them, I have to thank them. Thank you so much, Konami, because based on the screen captures, the graphics is literally on point. The screen captures are showing that the graphics is going to be nice. So props to you, Konami, for keeping up with the great graphical standards. Alright, it seems as if you really care about the visual look of the game, and thank you so much for paying great attention to the full details of these stadiums. Anyways, going to the criticism part, like, one thing that I don't understand about Konami is what takes them so long to put out the stadiums, and what took them so long, to put out a lot of features. Why did they even rush to put out the game in August when they knew that they had not fully completed the game? First of all, the game did not have great gameplay. The gameplay was completely broken, and you had to put out a data pack as well to patch that. Alright. Second of all, the Master League was broken again, and you had to put out a data pack to patch that. Third of all, Celtic and Rangers are officially exclusive licensed teams in the game. How come you secure a team's license, right? But then you don't put out the teams with their respective stadiums. So I just don't understand. Like, those teams are your official partners. It's not like at your PES headquarters in Tokyo, you just woke up and was like, we have to include those teams into the game just minutes before the game's release. No, these are things that came into place after a very long period of discussion, consideration. So what took you so long, like almost close to 6 months, for you to put out the stadiums of these games? This was supposed to be done upon the release of the game. These teams are supposed to be put out into the game with their respective stadiums already, and all what the people were supposed to do was just to use the stadiums upon release. Now people had to wait for like 6 months. Just imagine if someone is a Celtic fan or a Rangers fan, they have to wait for 6 months for them to play into this game. And basically this is virtually like adding this game is the same as adding these games into PES 2020, because in February we'll be left with like 3 or 4 months for the next E3, the next Gamescom, and the next PES 20 press runs. So why do you have to put these stadiums in 2019? That's what I just don't understand. So Konami, if you're watching, if you're listening, please, next time in PES 2020, can you please try as hard as you can to put out the complete game on the release day of the game, on the official day of the release. If not, it's best for you to put out the game in November or December. That's actually quite better than putting out the game releasing the game in August whilst it's still unfinished and unpolished. That itself destroys your reputation. You have been building a lot of reputation, a lot of momentum. You can't just do this to the people who are behind you, to the fans who are behind you, who support you. The other thing that I don't understand is, why does it take Konami 6 months to come up with 2 stadiums or to create 2 stadiums when it takes like a month or even less than a month or a couple of weeks, even 1 or 2 weeks, for guys like Jinder and Durandil PES to mod the game and to give us like 10 stadiums? Because those guys called Durandil and Jinder, they literally modded the game, and upon the game's release they put out a mod which made it possible for you to play in like the Etihad Stadium, Stamford Bridge, the Leicester City Stadium as well, and Real Madrid Stadium. They brought out a couple stadium before Konami. So I don't understand, if this means that these guys are that much good enough, then Konami should just hire them and give them jobs, because these guys are hardworking and much more qualified and skilled and dedicated than the engineers or developers that are there at Konami in Tokyo. So that's all I had to say about those stadiums. But hopefully, if you are a Celtic FC fan and a Rangers fan, hopefully, in February you're gonna enjoy playing in your magnificent stadiums. And moving on to the next story of the segment, PES Mobile. A lot of talk has been centered around PES Mobile and how people are quite angry at how it has gotten to be, because with PES 18, I believe they were using the Havok engine, and it was quite compatible with a lot of phones. And now they've managed to put out the new game based on the Unreal engine, and it has not been compatible with a lot of phones, especially low end and middle or medium end phones. It has mainly been compatible with high end mobile phones, and a lot of people have gotten to become angry at Konami. So I basically don't really know, I'm not really into PES Mobile or mobile games, but I think what Konami did was not really bad, because guys, you have to understand that it's always great to update a game with time. So what Konami are trying to do right now is to improve the gameplay of the game, improve the graphics of the game. So with that in mind, they have to put out a demanding or a game engine that's highly in demand, and they did that by putting the Unreal engine. So I understand, guys, you might not have a high-end phone, but put this into consideration. This is the reason why PC fans or PC gamers have to upgrade the computers, the PCs each and every year. Sometimes you just don't need to upgrade your PC each and every year, but you have to have a PC that's modern, a PC that can play games of a certain era. So my advice to you guys is, either you play the game on the lowest or the minimum settings, the optimum settings for your phone, or you just have to change your phone, because if you want to play such a highly demanding game, then you have to have a good phone for that. So I understand, because I've played this game on my phone, and I use an iPhone 6s. It's not even modern, actually. It came out in 2015. It's quite getting outdated now, but the game is playing very well. The only issues that I've been experiencing myself are when you receive a message, the game lags a bit just after moments after receiving the message. So when that when that notification tab drops down, the game just starts lagging a bit, and then when it goes away, the game goes back to normal. So I think the only advice that I would give is for you to play the game in do not disturb mode, where you don't receive notifications and stuff whilst playing the game, if you don't want to have the game lag upon you receiving messages. For example, if you're someone who receives messages a lot, it means that it might eventually make the game unplayable, because it starts lagging a lot, and it might lag whilst you're in a critical or important moment of the game. So The other thing that I've gotten to realize is the server problems. Like, if you want to play against a team, you have to keep on pressing retry, because it keeps on telling you that it can't connect to the server, or it can't find a match for yourself. So Konami, you have to fix the servers. You need to fix the servers, to be honest. This is not only in PES Mobile, this is also in PES, the full game, the console game. You have to fix your servers. So that's basically it for this week's episode, episode of Worldie News. I'm the Rogue, bringing you your most amazing show, putting out the most amazing show for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this week's segment. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to sponsor the channel, because we're trying to grow as well. So I'm gonna leave some links below at which you can fund the channel, donate, and if you have anything that you want to give the channel, you can we graciously accept any form of funding or anything to help the community grow, to help the channel buy more good high-end mobile phones, or good high-end computers or consoles, where we can taste the game and give you some feedback based on the game. So I'm the Rogue. I've brought to you the news. Smash like, subscribe, fund the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.